You think we're gonna beat all these games?
Nope.
Backlog boys.
No, probably not.
What adjective would you ascribe to the Game Boy?
The Game Boy? The original Game Boy? Or like any specific iteration of it? Or
Like,
just whole family?
Is it like profound? Is it like...
Actually, I would say it is pretty profound. Because like, much like the Nintendo Entertainment System proved that console video games were not dead and were not a fad and they were going to be a thing. The Game Boy did the same thing for handhelds. You know, like other handhelds came before, but none of them really got it right. And the Game Boy like was a huge success because Nintendo knew how to market stuff.
And I mean,
and they made awesome games for it.
If you consider the DS and the 3DS just like a continuation of what the Game Boy started, then
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's still ongoing.
I mean, really, no one has ever been able to make a successful handheld except for Nintendo. Like nobody else has figured it out. The PSP did worse than the Sega Game Gear.
Yes.
So,
but I think Sony didn't necessarily.
I mean, if you adjust for inflation.
I mean, I think the PSP and the PS Vita were not like they could have. They had the technical potential to be all right.
Oh yeah, great hardware.
Yeah,
great hardware.
And the PS Vita having 2 thumbsticks, like that broadens the horizons entirely.
Yeah,
but like
really great quality on graphics, really awesome piece of hardware. The rear touchscreen is super neat.
And they had some great games.
You gotta have a library. Yeah, you gotta have a library.
They didn't.
Oops. Sony. Whatever.
Oops.
Let's see.
But
still need more Beast.
Would you say the Game Boy is epic?
I think the Game Boy is pretty epic. Like I still play my Game Boy Color.
Okay, I still play my
I
SP.
like pulling it out and playing it.
Okay.
I actually am gonna get a custom Game Boy Advance at some point.
Like this one? Or
yeah.
Like an SP?
Yep. I like the Game Boy Advance, the original Game Boy Advance, the best.
Okay.
I like it better. I like it better than the SP because the triggers are nicer and the buttons are farther apart.
The trigger, like the shoulders?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, shoulders on
the SP are really small and super close together.
And they end up getting loose.
Oh, really?
Too. Well, not like super loose.
I'm sure they all end up getting loose.
They have a little bit, yeah. But like the ones on the
there's
Advance are like a little more spread out and like, I don't know, something about the way they're situated seems a little bit better.
Holy attack and
But that backlight.
It's
powerful.
My custom Game Boy Advance is gonna have a backlight.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, or actually, it's not gonna have a backlight. It's gonna have a front light, which means I can play it in the dark and in the daylight.
But is it? It's not gonna be like the thing like that. Like,
no.
Okay.
Nope. It's built into the screen, and it's a switch that you can turn. Cool. You can turn it on and off.
That's cool.
So yeah, you know how like the Game Boy Color, you can play it in really bright sunlight, and it looks awesome. Mm-hmm. But then if you try to play like a DS in really bright sunlight, it's super hard to see because it's a backlit screen.
Well, I have I have like a special SP.
Oh,
where it has multiple settings for like the brightness.
Oh yeah, you can change
like toggle it.
I don't think
it's like
I don't think it's a special.
No, it is.
I think most of them have that.
Well, most of them have that, but then the way mine, for some reason, there's like a second SP, like that has an even more powerful backlight.
Like a later model or something.
Yeah, where it's like the backlight is even more like potent.
Okay.
Or whatever. I don't know how to describe, but it works in the sunlight.
All right.
But the original one doesn't. So
interesting. Well,
yeah, I didn't.
What I'm trying to say here is, Vaughn, is that my custom one is probably going to be.
It's going to get around the issue.
Probably going to be better than yours.
So. Well, yeah. I mean,
and it's going to be like a cool color, and it's going to have like special buttons.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt that.
I'm excited.
I think that's all that was holding back the original Game Boy Advance. Is that
was the backlight versus front light situation?
You have a silly light sticking off.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna get a rechargeable battery for it too.
That's good too.
So
that was the other thing holding it back.
But not just a rechargeable battery. So it'll still be able to run off of AA's also.
So you can put it like a battery pack.
So it's super flexible. Whereas if you just have the battery pack, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
If you don't have a charger.
If you're going on a long voyage at sea without power.
Without electricity, yeah. So yeah, just having those options, you know.
Oh no, I don't.
It's pretty sweet.
I'm sure it will be very.
What color is this one? A blue beam. So we need ice.
Which I think we already have equipped.
Ice, baby.
Well, we don't have already equipped, but we have it on the weapon. So we just have to...
Look at that. Gold ring +1. Equip hoe. Ice, baby. Yeah, baby.
Why do they have lifeboats randomly on floors?
And they're like suspended over the floor upside down. Oh no, they're not upside down. They just look very willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So I said I was going to tell a story.
About your epic Game Boy story. That's where I was trying to lead you.
Yeah, I realized that I totally recognized the bait, but didn't take it for some reason. So in my younger days, I was not the best person.
Morally?
I was really, really bad about lying.
Okay.
Like it was just like a compulsive kind of thing, where like if something was brought up and I didn't know about it, I'd just be like, oh yeah, I know about that.
Okay.
You know, typical things that a lot of kids do, but just at a very heightened level. And then I was also like very skilled at lying, to the point where sometimes I could convince adults of things. Mm-hmm. You know, and like a lot of kids think that they're convincing adults, but the adults are actually
they're onto it,
seeing through it.
Yeah. But
there were things that I would actually convince people of. And, you know, I'm not trying to brag about my skills or anything, but I basically recognized that after a while, like, hey, I'm pretty good at this lying thing, and it can be pretty useful in certain situations. And so it just kind of got out of hand. And there was a time in my life where I had my first Game Boy Color. And I never had the original Game Boy.
These guys are sneaking up.
They're crowding me.
Flanking. Okay.
So I never had the original Game Boy.
Okay.
I had to watch all my friends get Pokemon right when it came out. And I just had to watch them play, and I wanted it so bad. And my mom knew that I did, but, you know, we were just kind of poor, and I had to wait. Mm-hmm. And so by the time it was okay for me to get a Game Boy, the Game Boy Color was out, and Pokemon Yellow was out. So I got the Game Boy Color, and I got Pokemon Yellow. And those were my first Game Boy and Pokemon game, respectively. And then I was like the cool kid on the block, because a lot of other kids still had the big brick Game Boy or the Game Boy Pocket. Mm-hmm. And I had the Game Boy Color. And they had red and blue, and I had Pokemon Yellow that was like a TV show that we all loved and watched.
Yep.
So it was kind of cool. And I played Pokemon Yellow religiously. And I went to this daycare after school. Mm-hmm. So I guess that makes it, afternoon care? And I had lots of friends there, and we all played Pokemon together. Look how much money we got, Vaughn. Holy moly.
Wow, I guess we didn't need that money.
Yeah, I just sold a bunch of fish bait, and bam, back in the game.
Also, our funds just increased a little.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Maybe they, if it's percentage based.
Yeah, then the more you the more you earn.
Holy moly. So at this time in my life, I was in the process of completing the Pokedex, the original Pokedex, in Pokemon Yellow. So friends with red and blue,
I have an idea where this might be going.
Versions were helping me to get like starter Pokemon. You know, somebody would like start a new file and trade it with me, and very, very generous friends helping me on my quest to complete the Pokedex. And it was very cool. It was very intoxicating. And it even got to the point where my best friend at the time, Alex, I don't remember your last name, buddy. Ooh. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's just Toasty.
Just Toasty.
Yeah. And he even went so far as to trade me his legitimate, from a Nintendo distribution, Mew. He had a legitimate Mew from like a Toys R Us event where they like came out and, you know, you plug your cartridge into a machine and you got a Mew in your file. Oh. And it was like the first time that kind of thing was ever done, because there was no legitimate way to get Mew back then, and I don't think the glitch had even been discovered that you use to get him now. Fuck you. And he traded it to me just to help me complete my Pokedex. And then the last Pokemon that I needed was like a Vaporeon or something. Oh, the flapping fish is the thing for the back floor. Oh. That's gotta be what that is. That's gotta be what it is. Oh, a King Mimic. He gives lots of abs. We're gonna kill him. So what happened was I completed my Pokedex.
Okay. And
being the proud person that I was, I told everyone. And I was super proud. And everyone at this daycare knew me as the kid who had a complete Pokedex. And I would just walk around with my Game Boy, boot it up to people, and show 151 seen, 151 owned. You know, right at the top of the file, you know, when you boot up the game.
Yep.
And I was so proud of it. I carried that thing with me everywhere. It was my badge of honor. And I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know exactly when. I don't know exactly how. But my Game Boy and my completed yellow version were stolen.
Oh, no.
Yeah, at that daycare. And I was devastated. It was literally my life's work up to that point in life. And
as a pre-K kid.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't that young. I was like 12.
Oh, okay.
The term daycare throws you off, but it does. This is where I had to go after school.
This was an after-school program.
Yeah, like basically because my parents weren't there to pick me up after school or watch me during the summer, somebody from this place would come pick me up from school and bring me to the place.
Because I had that.
And there were like field trips and stuff, and it was a really cool place. I mean, they had like a movie theater and like a game room. It was called Adventure Club?
Yeah, it was definitely an adventure.
That's an Adult Swim thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it was pre-Adult Swim.
Well, yeah, I would assume so. But anyway.
Or they messed up.
Anyway,
or they goofed.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Somebody stole from somebody. But yeah, somebody stole my Game Boy. I mean, I guess it's possible that it wasn't stolen and it somehow got lost. But like...
But it was pretty important, and it seems unlikely.
It seems pretty likely that it was stolen because, like, all the kids' stuff was in a certain area, and everybody knew where that area was, and, you know, people probably could have figured out what my stuff looked like, and they knew what I had. So, I'm pretty confident that it was stolen. So, I was...
You were in the public eye.
Yes. And we need some more repair powders, I think. And so I went into a tailspin. My favorite thing in the world had been taken away from me. All of my work,
pride and joy.
All of my work that I put into it had been taken away. And I legitimately didn't know what to do. Like, that was like what I did every day was played Pokemon. You know, and there were other things I was into, but not much. And so there was this kid in our neighborhood who was...
Wait, do you have a stand-up powder?
Yeah, I have 2.
Do you have an escape powder?
2.
Okay.
Good checks. Good job, Vaughn.
Thank you. Sometimes abuseful.
There was this kid in our neighborhood that was a little bit younger than us, a little more naive.
Oh, no.
And he also was pretty... His family was pretty well off.
Okay.
Compared to ours. And he was really into Pokemon, and I was a really good liar. So he came to me for all the new Pokemon leaks that there was no internet to debunk. And I remember telling him that there was like a Pokemon trading card box set that had every single Pokemon card ever in it, and that I was gonna get one, but it was on back order, so. You know, it was gonna be a while.
Okay.
He would like ask me about it every time he saw me, kind of thing. And so I put together a plot, and I did something very evil, and regrettable, and I had some gold spray paint that I used for a school project.
Oh no.
And
this is bad.
After I used it for the project, I just kind of had fun spray painting different things gold because it looked really neat and they looked metallic and golden. And So I spray painted some coins, because then they look like cool pirate coins, and it was neat. And one day I was hanging out with Mark, and that was the kid's name, and he was playing his lime green Game Boy Color and silver version, and I was like, wow, I really miss my games. And Gen 2 is out, and I can't even play it because I don't have a Game Boy anymore.
Gold and silver were out.
Gold and silver were out at this point. And by this point, I had not told my mom that I didn't have my Game Boy anymore.
Okay.
Because she would have been devastated, because she bought it for me. And she would have been upset too, because like it's my responsibility to take care of it, and like, you know, she wasn't gonna just like feel sorry for me and buy me another one.
Expensive at the time.
Oh, absolutely. And so I didn't tell her. And what did he say? Tell Charms to never come back. Dude, you ain't never gonna see her again. You won't even be at the wedding.
We're in the process.
Or the bris.
We're courting her.
Yeah. Oh, we're courting. But anyway, what ended up happening is I told Mark, just you know, nothing, no big deal. But oh yeah, I got this coin collection. You know, it's pretty valuable. Whatever. Just kind of mentioned it in passing, just sparked curiosity, you know. And then he asked me about it. I was like, oh yeah, you know, these two that I got, they're worth like $50. Pretty cool. And he's like, no way. He's like, yeah, man, yeah, each one of the gold pennies is worth $50. He's like, wow. I was like, yeah, whatever, you know. Didn't mention it anymore. And you know, one day, so we got a new ring we can buy for our girl. We can put a ring on it.
Let's do that.
All right, got it. And so I ended up trading Mark 2 gold pennies for his Game Boy and Pokemon Silver, and still got those.
Wow.
Still got that Game Boy.
But you continued to see him, yes?
Not much after that. Made myself pretty scarce. I mean, we still lived in the same neighborhood, but
You were unavailable for comment.
Yeah, that Pokemon box never came, so...
This was like a news, an NPR story where we were like some incriminating thing, and X and Y and Z places were unable for comment.
Yeah.
Unavailable. We couldn't comment on the destruction of our company's, morality. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what happened to you.
Yeah. So I feel super bad about that.
Mark, if you're out there.
I got your Game Boy, man. I got it. It's blue now.
It's blue.
I painted it.
I thought that you were going to... I thought you were going to say that your Game Boy Color was the color that you were going to spray paint. And you were going to, like, spray paint his Game Boy and then accuse him of stealing it from you or something.
Oh.
Which
that would have
been worse.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
We got 3 Fruits of Eden right now. Time for some buffs. Yeah. Tomorrow on The Boys.
We're going to get buff for our girl.
Yeah. Everyone who just unsubscribed because I told that terrible, mean story will miss all the amazing stuff.
This is in the past. Right.
Yeah. I've moved on. I'm not a liar anymore. I made a conscious choice. And I don't appreciate theft because I've been on both sides of it, and it's a gross thing. But I do still have that Game Boy.
If by some miracle Mark was listening, what would you say to Mark?
Sorry, bro.
Like, if Mark somehow...
You still got those gold pennies?
If he got into contact with us, would he receive his Game Boy back?
I'd totally give it back to him. Yeah.
Well, that's noble.
Yeah. I would totally give it back to him.
Mark.
And he could keep the gold pennies.
Let us know. Comment.
He could keep the gold pennies.
Keep the pennies.
What would be amazing is if he paid the scumbagness forward and got somebody to buy the 2 gold pennies for $50 each. and actually got the
Got
profit.
his money back, or made more.
Yeah.
Maybe now he's a skilled liar,
Who knows?
or maybe he's a great guy.
Who knows?
No idea what he's up to.
Well, Mark, we're thinking of you. Next time on The Boys.